I'm Jacob Courtwright, and this is The Locker Room. I'm ready. Hello, and welcome into the Locker Room podcast. I'm Jacob Courtwright. Thank you for joining me today. Before we get started, this is where my sponsorship plug is going to be. That is right, you heard me correctly over your car stereo. You heard me correctly over your iPhone. You heard me correctly over your widgets, or whatever they are now. Whatever you're listening on, you've heard me correctly. The Locker Room podcast is officially sponsored. So, once I get my sponsorship details worked out this week, this will be the new plug spot for my sponsorship. So very excited about that. I just kind of wanted to brag a little bit because I am so excited today. But of course, the only way you can get connected with my sponsor is if you are following me on my social media pages. So before we get started, follow The Locker Room on Twitter, TLR with Jacob. On Facebook, The Locker Room host, Jacob. On Instagram, The Locker Room Podcast 615. And of course, on the Tick and the Talk, The Locker Room 22. Now let's get into Sunday's show out or Monday Makeover. What a week of football for the NFL. Besides the injury report, which I'm assuming included 97 to 98% of the NFL on Sunday and 100% of my fantasy team, the NFL had a hell of a weekend for games. And, I'm still, in shock with how many good games we had, and it's only week 2 of the season. So we are going to go straight into Sunday show out or Monday makeover. For those of you who are just now tuning in and don't know what I'm talking about, it's a segment I do every day following the NFL weekend where we give a Sunday show out. That's a team that you want to be watching every Sunday, or a Monday makeover, a team that needs to put on some new lipstick, put a bag over their head, and get their problems figured out. So we are going to start with our first Sunday show out or Monday makeover, and we are going to go with, of course, the hometown Tennessee Titans. Now, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this one because if you are a major Tennessee Titans fan, you need to be following me on Instagram, the Locker Room Podcast 615, to get my Titans take every day following a Tennessee Titans football game. So if you want a more in-depth conversation based solely around your Tennessee Titans, then you need to be following me on Instagram because it is exclusively on Instagram TV. All right? But I'm going to go ahead and start right off with this game because first and foremost, Gardner Minshew and the Jacksonville Jaguars are teetering on a Sunday show out for me. Definitely a Sunday show out last week against the Indianapolis Colts as they took home a victory 27-20 there. But for me, what they are doing, not only undermanned, under-talented, and with a horrible offensive line, is surprising a lot of teams very early on in this NFL season. They are going to make life rough for the AFC South. And I thought Kinlaw is a very good presence up front. Gardner Minshew, I've already talked about this, is the real deal. Gardner the gun mustache Minshew is just an insane talent in that quarterback position. He was insane at Washington State. He's going to do just fine for these Jacksonville Jaguars for years to come. But my Sunday show out, honestly, is because these Tennessee Titans, last week I talked about it on my Titans Take. I did not believe that we were in a good position or really deserved to win that game. But we gutted through and won that game. This week, this was a victory by the Tennessee Titans that was earned. Simmons with the block for the interception for Harold Landry was incredible. Simmons is playing like a top 5 defensive lineman in this league at such a young age. But the Sunday show out for me more comes from the play by Ryan Tannehill. So what the Jacksonville Jaguars did was, we are going to shut down Derrick Henry. He only had 84 yards on the day on 26 carries. So Derrick Henry was utterly useless quarters 1 through 3. He did have a 14-yard rush that really sealed the deal for that field goal towards the end for these Tennessee Titans. But Ryan Tannehill's efficiency and decision-making is what's going to set him apart in this division, is what's going to set this Tennessee Titans team apart by trying to win the AFC South and make it to a Super Bowl. His decision-making was impeccable. He was getting the ball out of his hand, which was way better than what he was doing week one, which was trying to make the big play. When Ryan Tannehill can play efficient football and throw 4 touchdowns but only 256 yards and can do all that literally just out of efficiency and not by volume, you are in a very good spot. 2 gutsy wins by these young Tennessee Titans. I call them young. They're really not that young, but it seems like Ryan Tannehill's baby face and Corey Davis's baby face, they all look like they're 15 years old out there. But I really like this team. Of course, being a Titans fan, it doesn't hurt to like your own hometown team. But I'm impressed with what I've seen from the Tennessee Titans. They earn my first Sunday showout of the week. Now, before we go any further, I do want to let you guys know, just because a team is a Sunday showout does not mean that they are a Super Bowl contender, best team in the league. Or because they are a Monday Makeover, does that mean that they're the worst team in the league? This is a week-by-week performance basis on the team and on what they did on that particular Sunday or Monday or Thursday, depending when they played. Okay, so don't overreact if I put your team in the Sunday showout or in the Monday Makeover. We're keeping it in reality here. We're staying on a week-to-week basis. This next game is actually a very interesting one for me. Cowboys versus Falcons. Now, all day, it looked like the Atlanta Falcons were going to be a Sunday showout. Matt Ryan balling out of his mind again. I've said it from the beginning. Matt Ryan is on another MVP candidacy for this year. This is how he works. Next year he'll suck. This year he's going to ball out. It goes every other year for Mr. Matt Ryan. But all day, up 19 against the Dallas Cowboys. Their defense forced 4 fumbles against the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys looked like actual human garbage in quarters 1 through 3. The Atlanta Falcons are rolling, and then somehow, and yes, I can't believe I'm saying this, it comes down to an onside kick recovery for the Dallas Cowboys and Greg the Leg Zuerleiner bombing a kick to win the game. They come all the way back and win it 40-39. Now, if you had either quarterback in fantasy, I'm sure you were praising the Lord on high. I had Dak Prescott in one of my leagues. He gave me an immense amount of points because he had to throw for 500 yards just to get back into this game. But I'm going to put both of these teams in a Monday Makeover category. With an exception for Greg the Leg Zuerleiner, he is in a Sunday showout. He is one of the best kickers in the league. So you are in your own category, my friend. But as a whole, the Atlanta Falcons, we talked about them last week, and the Dallas Cowboys, we're talking about them this week. They simply are not producing good football. The Dallas Cowboys needed everything in a prayer just to pull that game off. They didn't deserve to win it. They shouldn't have won it. If the Atlanta Falcons weren't the biggest choke artists since the Los Angeles Clippers, this should have been a parade in Atlanta for a huge win, destroying and dismantling America's not team, the Dallas Cowboys. So Monday Makeover for both of you. I am not liking what I see from the Dallas Cowboys. This is something that I have said for the last several years about Dallas. Dallas has all the talent in the world, but no brains to put behind it. They're arguing with a quarterback on Dak Prescott on how much money he should be getting. They have everything they need on defense. They have an immense amount of talent on the offensive side of the ball. Arguably, since Saquon Barkley is out, the next best running back behind Christian McCaffrey and Ezekiel Elliott, and they continually cough up games. I'm not liking what I've seen from Mike McCarthy. Going forward on 4th down, fake punts. What is he doing? This isn't college, my friend. You can't come out here and play Madden rookie mode and expect to go out there and win games. And the Atlanta Falcons, just for some reason, want to rip the hearts out of everybody in Atlanta. They don't understand how to close out a game. The offensive side of the ball aside for the Atlanta Falcons, your defense sucks. I don't care if you forced fumbles. I do not care if you held the Cowboys to a certain amount of points in the first half. Your defense has got to pick it up. Your defensive line plays out of their mind in the first half, and then all of a sudden it was floodgates open. Everybody come on through, get as many yards as you want in the late third, early fourth quarters. The Atlanta Falcons defense, I said this last week, you have got to be better. In order to match that offensive energy, you've got to be better on defense. And the Dallas Cowboys have every weapon on the defensive line, have every weapon in the backfield to really make damage on both sides of the football. But they have some sort of, I don't know if it's Jerry Jones above them that makes them play so poorly with all the talent that they have, but they remind me of the Cleveland Browns. They have all the talent in the world, but they can never really put it together. They get away with a really lucky win against an Atlanta Falcons offense, basically. Not, I wouldn't even say a team, because their offense is the only thing that's really going for them in Atlanta. Simply out of pure luck and lucky breaks and recovering an onside kick. The percentage of that is 17%. Of onside kicks get recovered. I mean, so they win by a slim margin. I am not a huge fan of what I've seen from the Dallas Cowboys, and the way it looks in their division, I don't know who's going to come out on top. The Washington football team is horrible. We'll talk about them in just a second. The Eagles may be worse than the Washington football team, and the Dallas Cowboys are going to go ahead and take this division again with an 8-8 record and get blown out in the first round of the playoffs. Just simply not good enough from either team. Both of you are Monday makeovers. The next game actually is another team that was in their division, the Los Angeles Rams versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I could go Monday makeover here hardcore with the Philadelphia Eagles, but we all know that they're terrible right now, so I'm going to go Sunday show out right off the bat for the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are back to their Super Bowl form that they were a few years ago. Goff is playing at a very high level, only missing 7 of his pass attempts as he throws for 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Their defense is flying around. You have Jalen Ramsey playing at an elite level, Aaron Donald, who is the best defensive player in all of football. You have a backfield that, even though it's depleted, continually finds ways to get a no-name running back 90 yards and a touchdown every single time that they play. You have Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Higbee. You have weapons across that entire line. They're being creative at play calling. They're being creative on the offensive side of the ball. Robert Woods is having rushing touchdowns, not catching touchdowns. They're having creative ways on defense to change up their pressure, change up their looks. They're moving from a 3-4 to a 4-3. They're all over the place. I can't say enough good things about what I've seen from the Rams so far in this early NFL season. They've got a new stadium. They look great. Their uniforms don't look that great, but they look great on the field. I love it, the elite level that they are playing at. Jared Goff is the key factor here. He was the key factor in the Super Bowl, and he did not perform at his highest level. All they have to do with Jared Goff, make him a great facilitator. He is somebody, he reminds me of a Nick Foles, except more athletic and has been better over a longer period of time. Somebody that is great in getting the ball out of his hands quick. He's super accurate, doesn't have to have the pressure of making the giant throws every single down. Why? Because their play callers were creative at the time. So I love what I've seen from the Los Angeles Rams. The Eagles are horrible. Jalen Hurts needs to come in and save that franchise. Carson Wentz is an overrated quarterback who can't stay healthy and blames everything else on his teammates. They're depleted on all sides of the ball. The Philadelphia Eagles, since winning that Super Bowl, and their head coach, I can't say enough bad things about him. He needs to go back to writing books and stay off of the sidelines, because I'm not impressed with what I've seen from him since he won a Super Bowl strictly off the back of Nick Foles. But Sunday show out for the Los Angeles Rams. Keep it up. I'm picking up half of your running back core on fantasy because half of mine are hurt. Hashtag Saquon Barkley, you're killing me. But overall, pretty impressed with the Los Angeles Rams. Now, this next game that I want to talk about is not a game that I thought I would be talking about on a Sunday show out or Monday makeover. That is the Arizona Cardinals playing, I'm not going to call them the Washington football team anymore, but the WTF team. The Arizona Cardinals playing the WTF team. This was not a battle of two contenders trying to take their divisions. Washington football fans got that bass in their voice. Hey, the way the Eagles are struggling, we really have a chance to take this division. The way the Cowboys lost week 1, we really have a chance to take this division. This was not a battle of two contenders trying to take their division. Rather, it was a battle of a contender to take their division, the Arizona Cardinals, versus a pretender in the WTF football team. After week 1, I knew the WTF football team were not real contenders. The Cardinals under Murray is an explosive offense. Murray is one of the most explosive quarterbacks in the open field. I would say, and I dare say this, Kyler Murray is as explosive in the open field as Lamar Jackson. He's not as dynamic. Those are two different things. Lamar can do more with the football. He can do more under center, in shotgun. He can do more off of tackles, around tackles. But in the open field, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, one-on-one with the defender, it's really hard for me to say that one's so supremely higher than the other. What Kyler Murray has shown us, and what, of course, Lamar Jackson has shown us, is that without a doubt, Kyler Murray is a rendition of Lamar Jackson, just with a little bit better arm. And I think Lamar Jackson's definitely better. Lamar Jackson's definitely the better runner. He's becoming a good thrower, but I think Kyler Murray has him in the throwing category. But when I say that they're similar, I just say that in the open field when it comes to running, Kyler Murray is as explosive as Lamar Jackson. This is something that the Arizona Cardinals, especially with the way DeAndre Hopkins is playing, can really ride and try and take this division by storm. They're 2-0 to start the year with a massive convincing win yesterday against the WTF team. Washington, nice try, go home just like you do every single year. You're just not good enough. Dwayne Haskins is not the answer. Antonio Gibson, even though I like him in the backfield, and Terry McLaurin, even though I like you on the outside, they just don't have enough to really push for that contending spot for that division. Arizona Cardinals, a Sunday showout. All right, we got a few more here for you. Let's go on to the Ravens versus the Houston Texans. This was not a battle of the best two dual-threat quarterbacks in the league, like most people say. This was a bad Houston Texans football team on full display against a very good and my Super Bowl contender, Baltimore Ravens. The Texans simply don't have enough. Their line can't block. They went out and got David Johnson, but they can't give him any time in the backfield to make something happen. Deshaun, the Magic Watson, is not doing magic anymore. He's flipping burgers at McDonald's the way he's playing. This is not the magician that we all know and love. This is not David Copperfield. Deshaun Watson has disappeared. Did you like that joke? All right. But what I've seen from Deshaun Watson is playing small. He's now, granted, he has played two of the best teams in the league without a doubt. Of course, the defending Super Bowl champions and my Super Bowl champion pick for this year, the Baltimore Ravens. But they simply don't have enough on the offensive side of the ball. You don't target Will Fuller one time throughout a match. You just don't. Their line can't give him any time. David Johnson, who could be a factor for them, is getting knocked back 2 and 3 and 4 yards every single carry because they can't move the ball forward, and their defense is out there too much. Now, what I will say for the Houston Texans is in the AFC South, they will still be contending for the number 1 seed and to be taking the division simply because Deshaun Watson is too much to handle for the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts, who are going to be the two frontrunners in this division. So he's going to probably split with both of those teams, but he has to work some magic in order to get back to the playoffs this coming season. He is going to have to ball out in all of his non-exhibition games, or non-conference games, I should say, in order for them to even have a chance. Deshaun has got to be the David Copperfield that everybody knows and loves, making the elephants appear, making the Statue of Liberty disappear. He's got to be doing some incredible tricks because there is no way this Houston Texans team is getting anywhere near a playoff spot the way they are shaping up right now. Monday Makeover, huge Monday Makeover. And finally, we have come to the last game of the Sunday Showout and Monday Makeover section of the show, and I cannot shy away from this game. The New England Patriots versus the Seattle Seahawks. And what am I going to label this one? Oh, you best believe I'm labeling this a double Sunday showout. First off, hell of a game. Russell right now is the MVP of the league. It's not even close. Russell is the MVP of the league, and Cam Newton is back to being Super Cam. He's back to strutting that Superman stuff. They both played incredible yesterday. The defenses look pretty decent. I'm telling you what, if the Seattle Seahawks stay healthy, they are a dangerous team. The problem the Seahawks are going to have is can not only they stay healthy, but can their offensive line and defensive line continually hold up like they have done the last 2 games. If they can do that, the Seattle Seahawks are not only in contention to be a good playoff team, they are in contention to make it to the Super Bowl. That's how much Russell Wilson is playing at that elite of a level, but that's how much I believe in this team. If they not only stay healthy, but if their offensive and defensive lines can shape up. If they can just hold up, if they can hold their own, they don't have to be great, but they've got to be good. That's the luxury of having a Russell Wilson. If you have a Russell Wilson on your team, you don't have to be great, but you have to be good. Now let's move over to the Patriots side of the football. Cam Newton is playing also at an extremely high level. What Daniels is doing for this offense, he is surprising people left and right. A couple of the formations they were lining up in, you know who it looked like? The Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. What good coaches do is they adjust to the personnel that they have on hand. This offense is suited for Cam Newton. This offense is going to open up the rest of the year and flourish, all because it's built around Cam Newton, Cam Newton's strengths, and what the New England Patriots do best, which is time of possession and running the football. They're making Cam look like MVP Cam. So great coaches make their players look great. Their schemes look like last year's Baltimore Ravens. Teams do not know how to handle the New England Patriots right now. They don't know how they're going to run it, where they're going to run it, what's going on. They all look confused. They look dazed. They are going to not only win this division, and I called this well at the beginning of the year, they're not only going to win this division, but they're going to make some noise in the playoffs. I'm not saying they're going to make a Super Bowl run by any means, because they don't have the same defense that they once did, so they need Cam Newton to be on top of his game. But they're going to make a run. They're going to make things interesting. They're going to piss a lot of people off come playoff time. I fully expect both teams to win the division, and I fully expect both players to be an MVP candidacy midway through, halfway through, and all the way through the end of this year. So far, Russell Wilson's my MVP of the season. Cam Newton is my backup. Double Sunday showouts for these two teams. Well, there is my Sunday showout or Monday makeover for you. And now we are going to go into my players of the week. This is a new segment that we are going to have following my Sunday showout, Monday makeover, where there are some teams that aren't going to get the Sunday showout or Monday makeover highlights. So I want to highlight some of the best performances of the weekend in a short little segment I like to call my players of the week. Who are the players of the week? All right, this week's players of the week, I've got 5 of them for you in no particular order. Number 1, Aaron Jones, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 receptions for 68 yards, and a catching touchdown. Packers blow out the Lions simply off of Aaron Jones' back. So Aaron Jones, one of my player of the weeks. Number 2, Joe Burrow, 319 yards, no interceptions, and 3 touchdowns for the Bengals. With a horrible organization at his back, Joe Burrow seems to be the bright light that is keeping Cincinnati afloat. Number 3, I've got Josh Allen with a monstrous 417 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions, and 1 nasty stiff arm on a defender. for the Miami Dolphins, which will probably retire knowing that he got slammed to the ground by a quarterback. Number 4, I've got Jonathan Taylor with 101 yards and a touchdown on his first career start. He also had a couple ankle breaks to go with it. Jonathan Taylor is the real deal, and he will benefit immensely in Indianapolis and in that backfield. Number 5, and I can't say this with much more joy than I have right now, Justin the frickin' man Herbert with 311 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 1 rushing touchdown. Let's put it this way. Justin Herbert found out he was starting around 3 minutes before kickoff. He played the defending Super Bowl champions and took them to overtime. He had 1 bad mistake throwing a deep ball when he should have just ran for the first down, but that is a rookie mistake. He is going to only get better and better from here. Justin Herbert, with a big shout out from me and all of Oregon Nation, was very impressed with his start. He, again, is the real deal. We have a lot of real deals in the NFL, according to me. So he is the real deal, though. And those are my 5 players of the week. Who are the players of the week? Okay, well, I cannot go any further with the NFL because I have to jump over to the NBA and talk about a travesty, talk about an appalling, deplorable, disgusting act that happened this week. LeBron James deserved the MVP over Giannis, and here are my reasons why the King should have taken home the MVP hardware. Okay, America. Okay, voters of the MVP. Okay. I see this is how you want to do LeBron. I see this is how you want to do the King. I see this is how you want to do this year's NBA Finals MVP, this year's NBA champion. You want to snub this man for another award that he deserves. Can I interest you in this in year 17? 10.6 assists a game. Not only is that a career high, and he's setting new career highs in year 17 in the league, but that was a league-leading stat. Leading the league in assists this year. Can I interest you in that? Can I interest you in that, America? Can I interest you in that, you fake Michael Jordan lovers who just because you watched The Last Dance, now all of a sudden you're buying a pair of Jordan 1s and pretending to stick your tongue out when you shoot free throws? Can I interest you in that? He's criticized for defense last year. He's criticized for defense the last 2 years. LeBron James can't sit in the chair no more. LeBron James can't do this on defense. He's a liability on defense. The King can't get it done. Can I interest you in LeBron James shutting down Kawhi Leonard? Can I interest you in LeBron James shutting down Giannis? Can I interest you in LeBron James shutting down James Harden? Can I interest you in LeBron James shutting down Paul George? Can I interest you in LeBron James shutting down Russell Westbrook? Now, I could continue to go on about all the players he has shut down. I can continue to literally talk about how many blocks this man is averaging in year 17. But he don't play defense, right? The King don't play defense. LeBron James don't play defense. How about you all stop getting your news from Skip the Frick Bayless? I heard an interesting story this week. They said, why does LeBron James get criticized when Ray Allen ties a ball game for him, but Michael Jordan doesn't get criticized when John Paxson and Steve Kerr win games for him? And those weren't playoff games. Those were championship games that they won for him. You want to know why? Because of people like Skip frickin' Bayless. Y'all need to learn to watch and completely make your own decisions. Stop letting the media, stop letting Skip Bayless tell you why LeBron James sucks. So you said he can't play defense, right? So LeBron James comes out and he proves not only can he play defense, but he can defend and shut down at times the best players in the league. Okay, that's not good enough for you. How about LeBron James has taken the Lakers to their first playoff experience since 2013? How about LeBron James has taken the Los Angeles Lakers to their first Western Conference final since 2013? How about LeBron James is about to take the Los Angeles Lakers to their first championship since 2010? Can I interest you in that? That doesn't interest you either. Okay, so a team that's been missing the playoffs. So LeBron James comes over to the West. You all said the West is the hardest division in all of basketball. Come to the West, they say. LeBron James is in the least of the East. Come to the West, they say. So LeBron James comes to the West. And what happens? He dominates the West. He's the number one team overall. They're about to win a championship. LeBron James is about to do something that no player in the history of this sport has done, and that is win a championship with 3 different organizations. Can I interest you in that? So you all want to sit here and continually bash LeBron James. Look at what he is doing. What does, and here's the question I propose to you at home, what does the MVP stand for? Don't worry, I'll wait. MVP means most valuable player. That means most valuable player to their team, to their franchise. You take LeBron James off of the Los Angeles Lakers, and they are the lonely Pelicans of Anthony Davis. You take LeBron James off the Los Angeles Lakers, and they are not getting out of the first round of the playoffs. They are not the number 1 overall seed. Kawhi Leonard's sitting on a throne. But, also he's sitting on a couch right now because Kawhi Leonard can't even get past the Nuggets, and LeBron James is up 2-0. Okay. That makes sense. Take LeBron James off the Los Angeles Lakers. What do they have? Keep AD. You can keep AD. They have a bunch of has-beens, a bunch of washed-ups, and a bunch of youngsters who don't know how to play championship basketball. LeBron is the greatest leader in any sports franchise. LeBron is the greatest teammate out of any sports franchise. LeBron is the greatest mentor out of any sports franchise. And LeBron James is about to not only be an NBA champion, but he is taking the Los Angeles Lakers to places they haven't been in years, since the Mamba was alive, since the Mamba was doing it. Can I interest you in that? Don't worry, I'm not done. I'm going to keep going. The Bucks have won. Hear me now. This year, the Bucks have won more games without Giannis on the floor. Without Giannis in the lineup, without Giannis playing, than the Lakers have without LeBron James on the court. Without LeBron James playing. Let that sink in. So when Giannis is off the court, the Bucks can still will themselves, because they're a pretty darn good team and pretty darn good coached, to victories. Oh, I'm sorry, and one of those includes a playoff game in which Giannis was sitting on the sidelines with a hurt knee. Can I interest you in that? Chris Middleton takes the Bucks to a playoff series or a playoff game win to extend the series without Giannis. Take LeBron off the Los Angeles Lakers. Are they even beating Portland? Are they even beating the Houston Rockets? No. But Chris Middleton can will his team against the Miami Heat without Giannis. What do the Lakers do when LeBron is off the court? Oh, I'm sorry, -6. What do the Bucks do when Giannis is off the court? +2. Can I interest you in that? Okay, facts don't matter, right? That's the problem. Stop thinking with your heart. Stop thinking with your feelings and look at the hard facts. Look at the evidence. This is my problem with sports media today. Whoever the hell is voting for the MVP has robbed LeBron James of more regular season MVPs, more defensive player of the year than I'm pretty sure the Hamburglar has burgers from McDonald's. Like, we need to get real, people. LeBron James should have 9 regular season MVPs and at least 4 or 5 defensive players of the year. But we're going to rob him of that. He's not aesthetically beautiful like Jordan is. His game isn't as fancy. He's not global like Jordan was. Blah, 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 blah. All because The Last Dance came out. All because we've always been holding on to the nostalgia of Michael Jordan over LeBron James. LeBron James is the most criticized athlete in NBA history. If you look at him objectively, you would understand that he's a GOAT. If you would look at LeBron James objectively, you'd understand that he's been the GOAT for several years. Since 2011, when he had his one breakdown, and let's put it this way, Jordan's had several of those if you want me to bring those up. Since he's had his one breakdown in 2011, LeBron James has been the greatest player on planet Earth so long as he's walked the earth. So did LeBron James deserve to win MVP? Hell yes, he did. And I'm going to throw out one more story for you, one more stat for you that will blow your mind. And this is why we need a revamp of the voting system. We need a revamp. The players have all said that LeBron James is the MVP this year. We need to go back to letting the players vote. Because players should vote on other players to win awards. Not some dumbass in a tie who wants to write about how much he hates LeBron because he covered Jordan in '93. You got me? Great. Let's look at this last stat. Pau Gasol in 2013, when LeBron James was the best defensive player on the planet. Pau Gasol won Defensive Player of the Year. And get this. I want you to come in, listen real close. While making second team All-Defense in 2013. What? Huh? I'm sorry, what'd you say? Are you saying that a man won an award for Defensive Player of the Year, but was second team All-NBA? That's like, the examples that you could give. Oh, I won Rookie of the Year. Oh, you only made second team All-NBA rookie. Yeah, that's right. Oh, okay, that doesn't make sense. I won the three-point contest, but you came in second. But I won it. Oh, that makes sense. I didn't know we were in the land of make-believe. I didn't know we were in the land of you. Huh? What? Huh? Is Mike Pence the president of the United States? No, he's not. Donald Trump is. Well, how come just because he got voted to be vice president, does that all of a sudden make him the president of the United States? Oh, that's right, it doesn't. So Pau Gasol gets Defensive Player of the Year, but he only gets second team All-NBA defense. Okay, that makes sense. If that doesn't show you that voting has to change, if that doesn't show you what bullcrap it's been for LeBron James throughout his entire career, I don't know what else does. That's appalling. That's disgusting. Come on, son. I almost can't physically stand it. LeBron James is my MVP. LeBron James should be your MVP. And no matter what Giannis has done, he is sitting on a couch watching LeBron James. Guess what? We don't want it. We don't want it. Take the regular season MVP. Disrespect us again. And look what happens. LeBron James is going to go steal the championship while all you other bums are sitting at home. LeBron James for MVP. He's the GOAT. Can't stand it anymore. Change the voting. It's got to be done now. Thank you all for letting me get that off my chest. Whew, I feel better. I needed it. Now I don't have to go kick a puppy. I'm just joking. But let's go ahead and move on to the Boston Celtics versus the Miami Heat, and then the Lakers versus the Denver Nuggets. And then next week we are going to be adding Fight Island and some UFC talk. We saw some incredible fights with Covington and Tyron Woodley this week. But yeah, the UFC is starting to ramp up with some major things back to Fight Island in Abu Dhabi. So got some incredible things coming from that. But let's go straight into the basketball real quick and finish off with this. First and foremost, the Heat versus the Celtics. I picked the Heat to win this series. The Boston Celtics are a resilient young team. I like Jason Tatum. Kemba Walker was playing out of his mind in Game 3, which was much needed. The Heat were up 2-0. I say this is a series that is going to go down to the wire every single game, and it is going to go 7 no matter what. Both teams have what it takes to win and get to the championship. I don't know what's going to happen here. I simply do not know. We've seen the Heat be down in every single game, but then they come back in games 1 and 2 and pull it off. We've seen the Celtics really take control and then fall apart towards the end. So I don't know what I'm going to see from these two teams. I like the Heat over the Celtics in 7. Here's the sad part. I think the Heat match up better against the Lakers, and I think that the Celtics would be swept by the Los Angeles Lakers. So if I'm a Lakers fan, which, I mean, I'm more so a LeBron fan, but if I'm a Lakers fan, I'm probably hoping that the Celtics pull this one off because they have no answer for Anthony Davis, whereas the Heat have Bam Adebayo, they have Jimmy Butler and Andre Iguodala that they can throw at LeBron. Not that either one of them could stop LeBron, but they could bother LeBron. So we really want the Celtics to pull this one off if we're Lakers fans or if you're a LeBron fan. It would be a classic series with the Celtics versus the Lakers as well. And even though Jason Tatum would be huge, the problem is they would have nobody for AD, no one to guard LeBron against the Celtics. So if you're a Lakers fan, you're holding out hope that the Celtics pull this thing off. But I still have Heat going 7. I like what I've seen from them. And Game 4 comes this Wednesday, so be prepared. Now moving on to the Lakers versus Nuggets, it's over. It's done. Pack up, go home. Thank you for trying Nikola Jokic. Thank you for trying Jamal Murray. You have been an incredible Cinderella story. You've been an incredible story just in and of itself. Once you finally got healthy, you have proved a lot of people wrong. I mean, you didn't prove me wrong because I had you beating the Los Angeles Clippers and then losing to the Lakers in 6. But you proved a lot of people wrong. You're young. You're scrappy. You play with a lot of heart. The Joker is the best big man in basketball. Jamal Murray is a rising star. I don't believe he's at star quality yet, but he is a rising star in this league. The Nuggets just simply don't have an answer for LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and that is simply why this is just a bad matchup for them. The Denver Nuggets playing anybody else in this series, the Denver Nuggets are not only going to come out on top, but the Denver Nuggets would have the advantage in the championship as well against a against a Heat or a Celtics team. But the problem is they had to go through the Lakers to get there, and they simply just don't have what it takes. The problem with the Joker is he's too slow to guard Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, of course, hit the shot heard around world yesterday, ending their hopes and dreams of stealing a game by swishing a step-back 3 and yelling Kobe at the end, which was beautiful. But they just don't have an answer for AD. He's too quick for them. Then he can take him down low if he really needs to. LeBron James hasn't even had that great of a series so far. So if LeBron James is playing subpar and you're still up 2-0, you're in big, big trouble. I've called it all along, Lakers in the championship. It looks like this will be an easy pathway to the championship. I just don't see enough from the Denver Nuggets to really make this thing interesting. But let me know what you think. I love to hear from you, and I love the feedback that I've been getting on social media, so let me know. Well, there you have it. That is my NBA take for the week. Like I said, reminder, the UFC is on its way back to Fight Island in Abu Dhabi for 5 weeks. We are going to talk a ton of UFC, a ton of fighting coming up. We have our good friend Josh Parisian, who, of course, is always around, that we are going to ask questions to. So make sure that you're staying up to date with the locker room. Make sure you're following us on all of our social medias. Can't wait till I can talk about my new sponsor that drops very, very soon. So make sure you are staying up to date with us so you can be in line and you can be first to know what's going on here at the locker room. This wouldn't be possible without you. Follow us on all of our social media platforms. And just thank you for being awesome. Thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. This does not go unnoticed. You will not be unnoticed. The further we go up, I'm taking you all along with me. I call you the locker room faithful for a reason. That is because you are faithful, unlike my ex-girlfriend. No, I'm just joking. But if my wife's listening, I'm just joking. But thank you all for being faithful. Thank you all for staying dedicated to the podcast. Once again, I'm Jacob Courtwright, and this is The Locker Room.